Our fourth speaker is Suzanne Leonard. Her speech. Please pardon the Jews. Please pardon the Jews. Suzanne Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Can you hear me? Great. I have the report right here. It seems like that this looks like an innocent kind of crime, but it sounds like that there is a foe and there's terror in the cafeteria. In the cafeteria? Are you kidding? Nothing is exciting in the cafeteria. I can't imagine terror, but it says so right here in my report. It says that plaintive cries, embarrassed looks, and defeated desserts are happening right here in our cafeteria, so the custodial staff says. I don't know. The staff says that it happens frequently now, and they're spending just a lot of their time trying to right this wrong. Mr. Speaker's Bureau Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and all those in this room, right now, you're going to be presented by our auxiliary staff an envelope. It's Exhibit A. Please don't open it until everyone has it, because here's what's going on, I guess, from this report in our cafeteria. Well, I guess collectively we're going to figure out what happens, why it's happening, and of course, if it's terror in our cafeteria, what we can do about it. I mean, children have to eat. Most of us still agree on that, even though they're picky eaters, they still have to eat. So when everyone has theirs, how are we doing, auxiliary staff? Everyone have an envelope? Right here, Dan, envelope? John needs an envelope? Because in it, you not only have Exhibit A, fellow friends and Toastmasters, you have a problem. Yes, right here in our cafeteria, with a capital C that rhymes with T and it sounds like terror to me. All right, you have permission to open your envelope. Now, in your envelope, you have discovered something that is called affectionately a spork. It's a spork. It's what we give the children in our schools to eat with. Totally ineffective. But I didn't know that it had struck terror in our cafeteria already. Because you see the spork that you have in your hand? Apparently, now we didn't test it before we purchased it, which is many of us do. It doesn't do its job. It's not really a spoon. It's not really a fork. It can't scoop up anything and hold it for long. And it certainly can't bring any kind of meat to your mouth or main course. Because as you'll notice on this spork, it has teeny tiny tines, I think, which is part of the problem. Can't pick up anything. And the well that's supposed to hold the juice that's in the fruit cup apparently is getting on everything but into the mouth. So says the report. which is why so many of the children are saying to the cafeterian staff as it drips down their front, trying to get to their mouth, please pardon the juice. Well, here's what's going on. We've done some research. Paul Peaver, who is known to take 2 desserts one day, took 2 portions of pears. It was thick syrup. The bees found out about it, those on the playground, and seemed like to buzz around and follow him all day. The report's still out on how many bees buzz Paul Peaver and the pears. Then the tine part of the spork comes up. Take a look at that spork, Exhibit A. Would you want your children or grandchildren to be frustrated day by trying to get their food into their mouths so they could go play in the cafeteria? No, you wouldn't. Let me explain what happens here. Here's the violent part that happens in the cafeteria. Stabbing happens in the cafeteria. Stabbing happens. And then after they have stabbed what they want to get into their mouth, it seems like what's happening is that they're putting their chin on the end of the table, stabbing it, and then slowly moving it toward their mouth and getting it in before it falls off the fork. Most of the time it collects crumbs and other things on the way from stabbing to mouth. So what are we going to do about this? We have thousands and thousands and a big investment in sporks that don't work. How many of you have ever invested in something that doesn't work? Maybe not thousands and thousands of dollars, but nonetheless. So what do? Well, we've instituted spork tutors. Yes, now we pair every young child with a mentor whose job is to make sure that lunch gets to these young students. And no longer are they pleading and saying, please pardon our juice. Now they're being tutored on how to use the spork without being dangerous to themselves or other students. So I would ask you to take that spork. Those of you who have it, and those of you on Zoom, you can get your own spork. But take that spork and try and have a meal with it. And then visit your cafeteria. Sit down. You also can be a spork mentor. It's important that our children eat. Well, most of them anyway. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Suzanne.